I take it no one's been hearing me at all. Great. Let me start at the beginning again. Apparently my mic didn't connect. Again. Okay, let's start again. Hey guys, sorry about that. I don't know what happened. So let's start over again. The following documents are taken from the handwritten notes of Trilby, an SCP field operative whose real name remains classified. Game over. That was what I thought as I stood and watched the Foam Manor collapse into flaming ash. Basically, after people complained saying how Trilby seemed to just brush off everything that happened, Yahtzee decided, you know what, that's a good point. Let's have it be that he actually got more messed up after the events. The ordeal was over. Those 5 days cost us so much. Philip and AJ paid with their lives. They were the fortunate ones. Jim Fowler was expelled from school for truancy, a bright future in tatters. Simone Taylor took to the bottle. Her broadcast became slurred, her eyes hollow and unwelcoming. She soon vanished from television screens. As for me, I tried to return to life as a cat burglar, but I have been forever tainted by my time spent in that wretched house. The memory of my possession came back in my nightmares. Every night I was there again, in the mansion, staring out those through unfamiliar eyes as Philip died at my hands. I became convinced that John Defoe was not at rest, that someday he would return for me. I became so terrified of invisible enemies that I forgot about the tangible ones. Trilby caught, infamous thief caught in police sting. 2 slow, miserable years after the Foam Manor, a barrage of Truchion blows taught me a harsh lesson in reality, and I woke up in the kind of filthy cell I assumed would be my new home. But then he came, the man from the government, with his nervous smile, offering an alternative, the STP, the Special Talent Project. It hadn't been that much earlier that I would have sooner died than entered an obligation with anyone, least of all the government. Had the Foam Manor changed me so much? Whatever my reasons, I left my past behind and resolved to give my new superiors nothing to complain about. I spent a year and a half completing assignments, developing contacts, building a reputation. And then the past caught up with me. In the summer of 1997, I became concerned about Simone Taylor's mental well-being. The papers were reporting her continual breakdown, and she had become a virtual recluse. I had no idea if my appearance would assist or hinder. I had, after all, deliberately allowed her to think me dead. Presumably, she knew differently now after the media coverage of my arrest, but I would expect her to be bitter about my subterfuge. On balance, I decided that a meeting with an old friend would most likely be beneficial. I came to her apartment, building on a warm, stormy night, and braced myself for the encounter. Completely different, but if you ask me, much better sprites. I mean, look at that. Now, because this is a parser system, I actually have to type the words in. I knocked sharply upon Simone's door. I can do it again. Receiving no reply, I knocked again louder. Still no response. The doorman assured me Simone was in. I decided it was time to enter by my own method. Lockpicks. I reasoned that Simone could have been in trouble, and even if she wasn't, then at worst I was only playing it to my reputation. I spent a few minutes feverishly picking the lock, then let myself in. I don't think this is right. Just a second. I gotta check something very quickly. Just give me a moment, guys. I gotta check one thing, because this is definitely not right. I don't think I should be able to see Trilby like that. Just a second. You can't see it because I'm not seeing it yet. You can hear it, but yep, that's why I saw it. Just a moment. Giving me some difficulty here. Come on, load up. Come on. Why isn't it appearing on the screen? Come on. Oh, what the heck? I'll just make do then. I'll just make do with the weird twistedness. Basically, I'm supposed to be in shadows during that moment. I'm supposed to be in shadows during this moment, but just ignore it. It's one of the downside of using the Scum VM. So just pretend Trilby's supposed to be invisible. I pull open the blind. Oh no! Simone! The body on the floor was undoubtedly Simone. I felt for a pulse, and my hand came away stained with long, cooled blood. My fingers traced the outline of a large wound in her torso, slashed by a big weapon, wielded by a big assailant. I called for an ambulance, as futile as it would be, and left before they arrived. Due to me being a clear murder suspect, I was relieved from my duty for the week it took for the Ministry of Occultism to inspect the flat and confirm supernatural activity. My superior simultaneously apologized and assigned me to investigate if there was a connection to the Defoe Manor incident. Merely reading those 3 words capitalized on the front of the loose leaf file brought the nightmare back with more intensity than ever. Sure enough, a field agent reported that looters had discovered and sold several artifacts from the mansion, including the wooden idol that housed John Defoe's soul. To my surprise, no murders have been reported or committed by anyone who had come into contact with the accursed trinket. I did not find this reassuring. I quickly advised James Fowler to go into hiding. He was stunned but agreed. The boy had sense and still respected my judgment. This done, I began following the idol's trail. From the pawn shop, it had entered the possession of one Professor Abed Kahal, an authoritative historian. He had scheduled some kind of antiquity fair in the Clanbrowyn Hotel on a small island off the coast of Anglesia, possible and popular with tourists. Assuming the role of a scholar in antiquities, I booked the room. On the 28th of July, 1987, I caught a ferry from Portalog in Anglesey and arrived around 3 p.m. in Clanbrowyn, an island's coastal village. Hey, Ingrid. So yeah, we just found out Simone got this. We're doing all this is Trilby's note. From Simone has been killed, and now we're trying to find the idol. It seemed a peaceful hamlet, and in defiance of stereotype, the locals were welcoming and told me no local legends to dissuade me from exploring the island. The Clanbrowyn Hotel was in the island's center, surrounded by forests. I made my way there on foot. You're Trilby, right? As soon as I arrived, I was greeted by a balding man in a gray anorak. I wondered if I was expected to know who he was. That depends. My name is Lightman. I'm with the Ministry of Occultism. Oh? I thought the ministry were clear on the fact that I was handling this on my own. Maybe there are still people who don't trust you, Mr. Trilby. What? I haven't stolen anything since I joined the STP. Your colorful past is not what concerns my superiors. It hasn't gone unnoticed that your history with the Defoe race influences your psychologically. I'm sure you resist it, but it can still cause you to act irrationally, disobey orders. Everyone just feels a little safer with someone else on the ground. I see. You can rest assured that I will endeavor to maintain absolute professionalism on this assignment. Nevertheless, I have my orders. I would suggest we keep out of each other's way, then, and pursue separate investigations. I'm sure I don't want to get mixed up in a reunion. I watched him disappear around the corner of the building. I very much doubted that Linkman and I would become friends. The Clanbrowyn Hotel lobby was a warm welcome. The building was certainly well maintained, and that there was something about it that nagged at the back of my mind, quickening my pulse. I dismissed the sensation, an act which in retrospect I would come to regret. Good evening, Terrence Rabley. I have a reservation. Yes, You're here for the antique fair. We put you in room 3C on the third floor. If you could just sign the check-in book. Hello, and Besson. Just letting you know I'll be having dinner in my room today. That's absolutely fine, Professor. This, I decided, was what they called a golden opportunity. Professor Calhal? Yes? I'm afraid you have me at a disadvantage. Railby. Terrence and Railby. We met in Seuss Bays a few months ago. Oh, you don't remember me? No, of course I do. Terry Rabley, how have you been? The astute reader has already guessed that both Terrence Rabley and the previous meeting were utter fiction, and had spent some time studying Chahal's movements and habits. He was, by all intensive, he basically easily forget. And well, thanks, I was hoping to run into you. I've heard interesting things about the items you're showcasing here. You remember I do freelance scouting for some wealthy collectors? Yes. Well, a client of mine has expressed an interest in relics from Defoe Manor in Buckinghamshire. He's been on my back for a while about it. Between you and me, he seems pretty obsessed. What remained of Professor Cahal's suspicion melted away from his expression as the opportunity to make money entered the conversation. Well, I'm sure I wouldn't want to damage your professional status. Would you like to come to my room for drinks? Oh, I don't want to impose. No imposition at all. Please follow me. Your room king, Mr. Railby? Thank you. Please lead the way, Professor. Abed, who's your friend? Oh, let me introduce you. This is my personal assistant, Shioban. She accompanies me on most of my excursions. Shioban, this is Mr. Railby, an old acquaintance. He's looking for information on Defoe Manor artifacts. Oh, really? Him and half the people we meet? What is it about that place? Never underestimate the attraction of a mystery, my dear. Please take a seat, Terry. I'll be right with you. So, interested in ghost stories? The girl struck me as a forceful personality. I gave the matter some thought before replying. Not really. I'm just scouting on behalf of a client, like I told the professor. You know, it's strange to see someone as young as you in the antiques trade. And come to think of it, I thought only old men dressed like that. No offense meant. None taken. I didn't catch your last name. O'Malley. Sir Shioban O'Malley? Could it be more Irish if I tried, could it? Sorry to keep you waiting, dear boy. Now then, what shall we talk about? So I understand you came into possession of artifacts from Defoe Manor. Yes, indeed. And it was astonishing to meet that such artifacts existed at all. The whole place burned to the ground. Did you hear about the Defoe Manor incident? I was experiencing a sick feeling that I had not felt for quite some time. The last time I felt it was while standing at the gates of another country mansion, not long after Defoe Manor, preparing to break in. Recalling those 5 wretched days churned my stomach with fear, turning what had once been the joy of thievery into an exercise in anxiety. Discussing it brought that feeling back, the act of feigning ignorance while visions of welding masks and machetes flooded my mind's eye, worsened them. I heard something on the news. It has been on the news again lately since that Taylor woman died. A lot of silly talk about the paranormal has been about, and so the true facts are near unreachable. But the point is, some enterprising fellows picked up 1 or 2 undamaged items from the ruins. Furniture, books, an ugly little tribal figurine, and I took them off their hands, purely out of curiosity, of course. So were there any particular items your client's interested in? Tell me about it. Does a huge man in a welding mask and leather apron mean anything to you? Not really. Should it? Never mind. It's a small African figurine that my client wants me to look into, resembling a rather ugly tribal god. That old thing? Honestly, despite its age, it's virtually valueless. That's what I said. but my client is very insistent. He's interested in the paranormal, and the idol features in some of the more unlikely accounts of the Defoe Manor incident. Well, I don't suppose I should ask questions. If this man of yours wants to take it off my hands, I don't have it on me right now. It's being kept in the hotel safe. Perhaps we could work out a deal after the fair? I had intended to display it with the other Defoe artifacts. Inwardly, I just wanted to get this mission completed as fast as possible, but I didn't want to risk suspicion or giving off the wrong impression. That'll be fine. So, just out of interest, what else have you picked up from the mansion? Odds and ends, basically. Some silverware and ceramics, most of a burnt rocking chair, and the painting, of course. Painting? A landscape from a wall in the mansion's lounge. Of little artistic value, but the artist features prominently on Defoe Manor's colorful history. Matthew Defoe. That's him, yes. Bethan, she runs the hotel. She asked if she could display it in the lobby. Instantly, I recalled the sick feeling I had felt in the lobby. I had seen the painting, but had paid it little heed. Oh? Are you all right, Mr. Railby? You've gone rather pale. Oh, what? I'm sorry, I was just distracted by my thoughts for a moment. Lost in history, eh? Something like that. Whoa! Mr. Railby, what the hell was that? What the hell was what? You were just sitting there, then you went all stiff like you've seen a ghost. You didn't see it? See what, Mr. Railby? I'm sorry, I have to go. Something's wrong. Oh, well, we won't keep you then. We'll see you later, maybe? My head was spinning, and a sudden nausea churned in my gut. The world seemed to be pulsating, the corners of the room wavering like a heat haze. You may say I imagine these things, and I thought that must have been the case. Was I going out of my mind? Was the hotel really changing into some nightmarish twin? Was I the only one who could see it? If I was hallucinating, it was too complex. The harsh wooden floor beneath my feet felt real enough. The horrendous stench of rotting flesh that reached my nostril could not have been conjured by my imagination. I decided I had to find John Defoe's idol as soon as possible. If not that, then at least the painting Chahal had mentioned. I was convinced that some connection lay between Defoe Manor and this sudden madness. His body is here. His soul is not. The lobby, too, had been tainted, and the painting I saw was absent. Presumably, it only existed in the hotel's normal form. If that was the case, I needed to find a way back there, or dispel the hallucination, if this truly was all in my mind. At this stage, I was beginning to wonder if this really was all John Defoe's doing. It didn't seem his style, somehow. But what other evil could possibly be the culprit? Someone had been tied to the altar, flayed, and had their innards removed. By the looks of the horrible claw marks and broken fingernails, they had been alive at least partway into the procedure. Jesus! I tore off a lump of meat to take with me. If I came against anything hostile and carnivorous in this place, it would help to have something other than myself to offer it. Kitchen door refused to open, okay. They were rusty, but functional. I took them with me. I gotta say, already this is far superior to the first two games. I mean, story-wise and graphics. It feeds. The pliers were ideal for moving the nails. What the hey? Baffled, I took the envelope. It was strangely bulky and tore it open. A white pill bottle and a note fell into my hand. I here enclosed the note with the report. Trilby, if you're reading this, then you too have seen the hotel change. At present, I have no idea if the alterations and alternative hotel is a part of the serial realm or some kind of construct, a pocket dimension. There is a definite correlation between one's level of agitation and one's tendency for reality shift. Fear is your enemy. It leaves you shining like a beacon for whatever evil brought us to this place. Enclosed is a bottle of tranquilizers from my personal first aid kit. When you find yourself shifting to the other place, take a pill and try to calm down, and the real hotel will return. Do not let it concern you. I am researching the phenomenon. Your task is to find Defoe. Good luck, Agent Lakeman. Lakeman's letter raised more questions than it answered. I pocketed the pills. Hastily, I tipped the tranquilizer into my palm and swallowed it without water. Oh, it quit. I missed that part. Hold on. Oh, come on. It quickly took effect. I felt the anxiety lift from the pit of my stomach, and my dismal surroundings seemed to feel less imposing. Then I felt that strange sensation again of lightheadedness and detachment as the world around me began to quiver. Whoa, look! I'm John! Oh, that didn't last. Hey, where'd the lady go? Well, he said the item was in the safe, so... I had encountered 4 stringer locks in my time. I picked it open within 10 minutes. Open safe. I hadn't had cause to crack safes for some time, but my hands instantly went into automatic deceiving mindset, returning like an old friend. When the job was done, the safe opened. My nostalgia faded in puzzlement when I found it empty. Just for once, I'd like to crack a safe that actually contained something. Referencing the first game, is that so much to ask? As I stepped closer, I could feel a sound becoming muffled, and my head spinning, as if I were about to faint. My hand, as it pulled by an invisible string, reached out towards the clumsy brushstrokes. Hey! Defoe Manor, July 28th, AD 1821. Matthew Defoe is 15 years old today. He's excitedly putting on the finishing touches to the painting which his father commented on encouragingly, the first time he has ever been supportive of Matthew's artistic leanings. Matthew is now convinced that his father is lifting from the mysterious depression that has plagued him for as long as either of them can remember. Now he intends to make the painting absolutely perfect before showing it again. Master Matthew? Sir Roderick has requested your presence in the trophy room. Thank you, James. And if you would be so good to inform him that I will be retiring for the night. Very good, James. Ah, there you are, boy. Let me introduce my son, Matthew. Hello, this is my friend, Mr. Smythe. He's an expert in African tribal art. Well, just a scholar. Hardly even that. Just someone with an interest in the subject. And he has offered to assess the figurine I brought back from my travels. I wasn't aware you had a family, Sir Roderick. Is your wife home too? Ooh. Regrettably, Belinda is no longer with us. Oh, I'm sorry. Quite all right. You couldn't have known. She succumbed to illness shortly after Matthew was born. I finished the painting I showed you, Father. Oh, good. Well, Mr. Smythe, what do you think of the piece? It's an interesting little puzzler, actually. The design is reminiscent of a few Central African tribal gods I'm aware of. But to be honest, I've never seen anything like this before. May I ask you how you acquired it? I'm glad you asked. It was 20 years ago when I was a younger man on my first travels in the Dark Continent. We were traveling along the west coast when our bearer spotted a ship that had run aground. It was an English clipper named the Sea Angel, and a short exploration revealed that every single crew member had just disappeared. Of course, we immediately sent a letter to the nearest embassy to report the findings. But the point is, it was on the lowest decks of the ship that I found the very figurine you see before you today. What an extraordinary tale! But how do you account for there being an African tribal carving on a British vessel? We were as confused as you are. It wasn't a slave trading vessel, but there could have been a Negro on the crew. It has been a personal mystery of mine ever since. I was hoping you could help shed a little light on the matter. But there is more to tell. I haven't even begun to recount the strange events that have surrounded this artifact. Would you care for a glass of brandy? Thank you, that would be most kind. Matthew, fetch the brandy from the kitchen, and some glasses. Yes, Father. Matthew took the brandy bottle and a pair of appropriate glasses. Hello. You haven't spoken to me in a while. I did another painting today. I showed it to Father, and he said it was promising. He keeps trying to tell me, I keep trying to tell him about you, but he never listens. You haven't knocked for me in so long, I was beginning to wonder. Hey, do you want to see my painting? I'm just not sure how I'd get it through the door. Now, have you noticed? Look around. You see the welding mask. You see the apron and you see the machete. I'm pushing the painting under your door, okay? Just give it back when you're finished. How dare you, sir! You intrude on my hospitality and insult my judgment! That's Father. Get out of my house, you worm! I better see what's the matter. Father? Oh, it's you. Father, what happened? I heard shouting. That old fool told me some rubbish about my figurine. Said the only tribe it could have come from all died in slavery years ago. Actually had the nerve to accuse me of buying from a forger. I'm sorry, Father. What are you apologizing for? Where's that damn brandy? I've got it here. Give it to me. I'll go back to my room, Father. Show me your painting. Father? You said you had a painting. Show it to me. I can't, Father. And why not? Because, come on, why not? Out with it! Because I gave it to the boy behind the door. I see. Father, go back to your room, boy. I have to write my diary entry. Yes, father. An hour of silence passed, and Matthew grew concerned about his father. Strangely, the most disturbing thing had been Sir Roderick's reaction to Matthew mentioning the boy behind the door. In the past, raising has usually provoked a violent rage or an instant flat denial. Matthew wondered what sort of anxiety was going through his father's mind. We know! What was that? Father, what are you doing? Uh-oh, look what's missing! The apron, at least. Matthew was confused by his own reluctance. He had longed to see what was beyond this door his entire life, but now, given the chance, he was struck with fear. He peered cautiously through and saw a set of rough stone steps leading down to some kind of basement. Oh! I should have done this the moment you came into this world, demon child! My God, forgive me for having a part in your creation! Father? What are you doing? Do you see what you've done? I didn't want him to see this! Do you see what you've done? Father, no! Father! Father! Oh! Boo! My apologies, dear boy, but I couldn't resist. You look so lost in that painting, I don't think you even saw me come in. What? Is everything all right, Terry? Yes, everything's fine. It's just for some moment there I thought I saw, never mind. Chilbon and I were talking about you after you ran out of the room. I said you seemed like something was making you terribly anxious. Frankly, I think that's still the case. I'm okay, really I am. Well, if you're sure. I was certain my mind was not playing tricks on me. I had been back there in Defoe Manor, looking through the eyes of Matthew Defoe. I had seen the event that had created John Defoe. I saw his death at the hands of Sir Roderick, that terrible violent end that would bring him back as that awful race. But somehow, seeing that event, it was clear to me that there was more to this than the ghost of one retarded youth. There had been something very wrong about that idol, even before it was used to destroy John Defoe. A name stood out in my memory, the Sea Angel, the name of the ship on which Sir Roderick had found the figurine. I now had a lead. Professor, do you know anything about a ship called the Sea Angel? You know, it's funny you mentioned that. There's a really old wooden chisel among the Defoe Manor artifacts, and the word Sea Angel was carved into the handle. Where is this chisel? Out on display in the convention hall, next to the dining room. What's all this about, Terry? It's nothing. It's just a little side project my client wants me to go get onto. Thank you for your help. No problem. Take care of yourself. And right with there, we get this shows why the writing on this is so good. Write it out. One moment, we got a lot of answers, questions answered, and a whole lot more questions given. Now, where do we read this? It was a page from a religious book I wasn't familiar with. I here enclosed it with these notes. Victim 5, the child. The fifth man who desired judgment was the child, whose father held the carving of the slave. The prince came to him and was at once rightly pleased with what he found, for the house of the child and his father already knew well the name of the king. As the prince watched, the child was thrown down by his father, and broken was the wood of the prince's soul. But as the child's body, mind, and soul began to drift apart, the prince held them together, and he said, "You are the child, and to you I grant power, for I see in you the potential that would grant my father, the king, his greatest wish. You shall be not of the land of technology, nor of the realm of magic, but both, and thus you shall form the bridge. And across the bridge the king shall come to bring his message to the men of technology. Through you, child, the bridge will come, and thus I name you the Bridge Keeper." And the prince touched the child, and he was the Bridge Keeper, and his three aspects were granted power, so that his soul would join with the prince's soul in the wood of the tree. And the bridge keeper rose and threw down his father and threw down his brother. And truly did they know the name of the king. And into the house of his father went the body and the mind of the bridge keeper. That's a lot of setup! Only one match left. I took it anyway, but trust me, there's a lot more setup! Whoop. Wah! Click. Huh? I pushed my way to the door and descended the fire escape. I took the crowbar with me. Perhaps it could serve a purpose. Just a second. Uh-oh. The crowbar was very odd. I doubt it possessed the necessary strength to do that. As I suspected, the stress provided too much for the ancient crowbar, which was bent to uselessness. I discarded it. I took the drink with me. Somebody told me I would be useful. A loud buzzing played in my ear, and my vision began to cloud as I reached over and laid my hand upon the tool. Somewhere in the Atlantic, July 25th, AD 1789. Mabuta had been a great warrior. In battle, his skill was thought unmatched in all of Africa. He had respect, a great house, and a slew of beautiful women, children to make any father proud. But through just one mistake, it had all been torn away. His mistake was in standing by his beloved king when the invaders from the coastal kingdom arrived. Now his great house was ruined, his women raped, his children murdered. And for Mabuta, the worst fate of all, sold to the white men in exchange for weapons, shackled with his fellows in the hold of a slave ship. Mabuta was strong. Perhaps he could have lived as a slave, but then came the sickness. A simple fever, no doubt to be gone the next day, but the white men took no chances and threw him overboard. For days, Mabuta drifted, waiting for the black cloud of death to descend. Having lost everything, he now sought only the embrace of the deep, a welcome end to a life betrayed. But the end did not come then. And coming around, Captain. Voices, unfamiliar, speaking in unfamiliar language. Mabuta was suddenly terrified that the slavers must have returned, but he was as weak as a newborn and could not move or speak. Looks like we picked him up just in time. Don't know how long he's been drifting out here, but he can't have lasted much longer. Good Lord! Look upon it, men, the greatest evidence of a humanity's inherent evil. Never forget that men, sailors such as you or I, did this. Left this poor wretch to die. Slavers aren't sailors like you or I, Captain. No. I do not know how those devils could have the audacity to still call themselves human. Today, there is no pride in being an Englishman. Find our new passenger some quarters. Make him comfortable. Passenger, Captain? Every innocent who steps foot on my ship is a free man. Is there something about this policy you find questionable? Not at all, Captain. No, these were not the slavers. The ship was different, less crowded with terrified black faces. There was anger in the voices of the white men, but not directed at Mabuta. Still frightened, but somewhat reassured, Mabuta passed out. Days passed, and Mabuta's health was restored. To have been rescued by the ship of these good white men had been a fantastic stroke of good fortune. He decided that it had been the will of the gods that he should survive, and that proper thanks would be in order. An idol, that was the answer. If he could just find some suitable wood and a sharp blade, he would carve the finest idol of his life. There were several crewmen tending the ship scattered on the deck. Despite the language barrier, Mabuta could tell they were friendly and cordial. All right there, laddie. Oh, I see. You want to carve something to carve with. Here. The sailor handed Mabuta a sharp, almost brand new workman's chisel. Just bring it back when you're finished with it. O'Malley Shipping. With the chisel and the wood of the crate, Mabuta could finally create his offering. After several hours, Mabuta was very pleased with the result, a fine rendition of his kingdom's god of fertility and good fortune. All that remained now was to return the chisel. So this is how the idol was created. And why it was said, oh, it was done by a tribe that was wiped out by slavery. He survived. Uh-oh! Oh, crap! Oh, no! The captain! Oh! Oh! Right in the face! The vision faded, and I felt myself being hurled forcibly back into the present day. That tall, thin creature, that black-cladded ghoul. What was its significance to my predicament? Why did it appear again and again throughout history to spread death and horror? And by the way, this is before Slender Man! There was no connection to the idol's shape or Mabuta's tribal deities. The tall man was no fertility god. It must have been connected to the wood of that crate somehow. There had been a name on that crate. Mabuta hadn't been able to read it, but I, looking through my eyes, had. O'Malley Shipping. Could the owner have been an ancestor of Shiobon? It was a flimsy possibility, but at that point, my only lead. I resolved to discuss this with Shiobon at the earliest opportunity. Yep. And the Tall Man was created years before Slender Man. I recognize it as being from the same source as the one under the painting in the library. Victim 4, the slave. The fourth man was who desired judgment was the slave, who had not been brought Freehorn's message, and who tormented in the wood that was the prince. And the prince said, "Not one of your household shall I have alive, slave, for thrice now have I brought my warning, and any who still fail to heed shall be named as fool and judged most unworthy in our sight." Okay. Finally, Oh, it's you, Terry. I thought you might have been the serving staff at last. Hey, where's Shiobon? She said she was going to get a drink. I keep telling her it's not right for a girl her age to drink so much. But what do I know about young people today? Mr. Railby, have you seen any of the hotel staff anywhere? I'm afraid not. Perhaps they go to bed early in these parts. Do you know anything about the history of your family? I wouldn't be much of a history student if I didn't. Now would I? I'm researching my family's tree as part of my diploma. That's ideal. I appreciate this. It may sound like an odd question, but trust me when I say it's important. Did your family run a shipping company in the late 18th century? That is an odd question, but I do remember reading something about O'Malley shipping. I'd have to check my notes. I left them in my book bag. Could you meet me in the room in about 5 minutes? I'm in 2A, next to a bed. But certainly. I'll see you there then. I took a swig from the beverage. I could almost feel the caffeine starting to heat up my brain. Basically, this triggers the swapping. Door's open. Come in, Mr. Please, Terry. You have the papers? Must you always get right down to business? Come and sit. Let's talk. How are you feeling? We were a little worried about you. I have these moments of illness. What do you want to talk about? The phone manor. Oh, it's kind of interests me. I was really into the media coverage of the incident at the time. This client of yours, the one who wants the figurine. What does he know about it? Well, he has an interest in the occult, and there's some nonsense story going around about it. Something about the idol being a vessel for an evil ghost. I wasn't really paying attention. Really? I don't remember hearing about that in any of the reports. No, you wouldn't have. It wasn't widely. Have you heard the story that Trilby was in the house? I could feel cold sweat drooling down my spine. Every fiber of my being was concentrating on not giving any outward sign of alarm. As Shiobon spoke of my secret name with wide-eyed enthusiasm. No one believes it, but Simone Taylor insisted it was true right up until, well, you know, she said he saved her from the house. I think that's a little far-fetched. That's exactly what Abed says. He says a ghost is one thing, but throw Trilby in it just makes it seem silly. Truth be told, I don't think Abed believes in Trilby any more than he does ghosts. He's so grounded in reality. A sensible attitude. Have you always been an antique dealer? Shiobon, please, I came here to talk about, let me put this at another way. Have you ever been an antique dealer? I knew it. The outfit, the hat, Terry Railby. You're him. You were in Defoe Manor. And now you've come here to finish off the ghost. Shiobon, I always knew there was something else in this world, that there was something better, more glamorous than just below the surface. Will you take me with you? Listen to me. There's nothing glamorous about what I do. I live in shadows that threaten to consume me every single day. And if you pursue this any further, you're going to walk straight into one. What are you talking about? There's something extremely dangerous in the hotel. I don't know what it is, but... Ah! Oh, God! No! He's not willing close enough. Oh! Whoops! Shiobon was out cold, but uninjured. She would probably be safe on her bed while I continue my investigation. I consider myself lucky that I was not skilled in unarmed combat as I thought. Under the circumstances, Shiobon probably wouldn't mind. There was a few textbooks, a half-empty water bottle, and a large folder marked O'Malley family history. This, I decided, was my quarry. I flipped through the pages until I reached the information relevant to the 18th century and read my discoveries out loud. The Liverpool-based O'Malley Shipping Company ran for 3 generations of the family in the mid to late 18th century, until the loss of one of their clippers drove the company to bankruptcy. The owner at the time, Jacob O'Malley, placed the blame somewhat irrationally on a shipping crate which family legend alleged to be haunted, and that had been on the ship at the time. There are numerous tales of bizarre events surrounding the crate, and the story of the crate's origin is no less mysterious. It goes that a strange young man came to carpenters at the Liverpool dockyard with a very expensive-looking harpsichord, which he insisted be smashed up and the wood used for whatever purpose the carpenter desired. He refused to leave until the instrument had been utterly broken into its component part in front of his eyes, and the wood sent to be made into crates for O'Malley Shipping. When pressed for his name, the man identified himself as one Jack Freehorn. The Room of Jack Freehorn, July 28th, A.D., 1778. So, what trifle have you been wasting your father's money on, Jack? What does it look like? It looks like a virginal. A harpsichord, actually, in the Flemish style. Quite old, quite expensive. Well, I suppose I should be grateful that something is distracting you from the occult for once. I fear you may be speaking too soon, my friend. Oh God, I should have known. You and your silly obsession. So what devilry inhabits this magnificent instrument? The instrument as a whole is for the most part untainted by the Earth's ethereal realm, but its keys are what sparked my interest. Unusually, they had been carved from centuries-old English oak, And that's the interesting part. I will not be disheartened by that sharp tongue of yours. The wood has gone through many incarnations before being incorporated into this device. Items of furniture, building material. In fact, just over 200 years ago, it was part of a wall of a certain inn on a well-traveled road. And the unicorn? I'm so pleased you remembered. I could hardly forget it, the way you have been obsessing quite heartily over it as of late. Your correspondent persists in filling your head with rubbish about ghosts and demons. I count myself very lucky to have tracked down even a small piece of that hostelry. I know I've already told you some of the wonderful stories attached to it, and this instrument has had its fair share of mysterious happenings. The usual batch of strange noises, sudden madness, and inexplicable deaths. Some cease sense, my friend. This curiosity of yours for all things ungodly has no doubt already befouled your immortal soul. You are a fine fellow, Wilbur, but you have not a drop of romance in your body. Now stop browbeating me for my inquiring mind, and let us take dinner. That night, Jack was stirred from his bed by the sound of music emanating from his new instrument. His first thought was anger, mostly because the harpsichord was an antique, never intended to be played. But then he listened to the haunting, melancholy tune and felt his stomach roll inexplicably with fear. Who's down there? Wilbur, is that you? Now notice, one bed, two indications on the pillow. He and Wilbur were a couple. That might have made sense. John took the gun with him to confront the intruder. Oh. Hold on. I did it again. Hold on. Jack could not take a step further because he realized with a lurch that he recognized the dark figure that sat at the keys. He had read of the strange entity that recurred frequently in stories surrounding the Unicorn Inn and the objects that were later constructed from its wood. And he knew with absolute certainty that the tall man would destroy him, were he not destroyed him first. You won't take me, demon! Wilbur? No! Oh God, no! But I could have sworn! You! I know you! You have... Oh God! Please forgive me for your majesty for my transgressions! I am a worthless, craven fool, not worth a second of your precious time! I beg you, spare me! I will redeem myself for my offense! I will be yours forever, my body, mind, and soul! Thank you, my lord! Thank you! Identifies himself as Jack Freehorn. This may well have been the same Jack Freehorn who went on to form a bizarre religious cult, a depraved group of paganist worshippers who were spoken of with much derision by conventional society. With my latest flashback, my knowledge of the history of the cursed wood gained another step. Before the crate, it had been a harpsichord, and sometime before the harpsichord, it had been part of some kind of hostelry in Wales. An inn called the Unicorn. Why did that ring a bell somewhere in my recent memory? I had definitely seen something in the Clamborn Hotel that was linked to the place. But where? Shieldbond? Victim 3, Freehorn. The third man who desired judgment was Freehorn, who had bought from those who made luxuries with the wood that was the prince's soul. The prince came and struck down the lover of Freehorn, and Freehorn knew the name of the king. And Freehorn said, I know you, O prince, who was the arrogant man, and I anticipate your wish, and I will be devoted myself to spreading the teachings you have brought me and the love of our king. And the prince was satisfied, and Freehorn called all those who would listen, and they would form the Order of Blessed Agonies that would work to redeem the follies of the men of technology. So what do you think so far of this, Ingrid? Uh-oh, the pills aren't working. To my unending concern, I realized the decay of the alternate hotel had spread either to me or the pills, and they no longer worked. I had to find a way to restore their effect, or at least another method of calming myself. Hold on, I missed that bit of dialogue. I knew you'd like it. From somewhere to the west, I heard the familiar sound of a door being unlocked. Linkman? Linkman, wait! Agreed! Uh-oh! Now watch this! Ah! This concludes the text of the notes found in the Claiborne Hotel on August 4th. At the time of writing, Trilby's remains missing in action. That's if I died. So in other words, the notes were cut off right there if you died. At least two individuals up there have met with the sticky ends down here. One of them had been almost completely picked clean by the beetles. The other I noticed was heavily decayed except for his hand, which was fresh and pink. I wonder if this had something to do with the puddle of water it was lying in. It was almost as if the water was drawing me to it. Not like a scrabbling thing in my mind like the chisel or the painting, but something, but more like a beckoning siren. I couldn't help myself. I crouched down and dipped my hand in and felt uncomfortably refreshing. And I brought an almost up to my lips with an unhygienic surroundings forgotten. As a pleasant feeling of simultaneous coolness and warmth spread from my stomach, I realized that the water had some sort of rejuvenating effect. I had no explanation for this, but at the time I didn't care. I was beginning to feel the back of my mind the familiar tinkling sensation that indicated a reality shift. so I swiftly scooped a few drops of the liquid into my pill bottle, shaking it through the remaining pills. Oh, Terry, it's you. A few things, Gilbon. I was about to ask you that. What did you do to the girl? I hope you didn't intend to seduce her away from my service. Abed, I need you to understand. You and I and Gilbon are in critical danger. There's something evil in this hotel and it's closing in fast. Mr. Relby, I've been over the hotel several times. Apart from us, there's absolutely nothing here. Please keep your fairy stories in the playroom where they belong. The hotel's not changed at all for you then? It's always been like it is now? Of course it has, Relby. What on earth else could that be like? Do you know something about an inn called the Unicorn? Ah, you noticed my shingle. I picked it up as a curiosity at an antique fair a couple years ago. Dates all the way back to the Elizabethan period, from what I understand. But I just can't find any buyer for the damn thing. Don't suppose you have any clients who might go for it? Possibly. Do I have your permission to examine it? Of course. I may have to touch it to assess the texture. By all means, do so. As long as you're not going to test the strength over your knee or anything. The shingle design was a simple one of a unicorn's head in a half profile, painted with the average ability on a dark oak backing. As I pressed my fingertips to it, however, the design seems to extrude from its backing, like a hologram, and seemed to draw closer until my vision was filled with wood grain and mediocre brushstrokes. I could vaguely detect the professor speaking to me on the very edge of hearing, but by the time I realized it, I was already gone. Somewhere in Wales, July 28th, AD, 1581. Owen Somerset, a traveling merchant, was on his way back to his wife and family in London, having concluded some business dealings in credit indigent. Somerset! As in Somerset from 7 Days, a Skeptic? Caught suddenly by a summer storm, he spied on an inn by the side of the road and marveled at his good fortune. Face, 'tis an evil storm that blights the sky tonight. I must have the Almighty on my side to find myself so close to an inn as it broke out. Perhaps. The innkeeper seemed quite taciturn, but Owen was in a good mood and was determined for it not to leave him. It was probably too late to continue writing, even if the storm cleared. Owen decided to inquire about a room for the night. Good evening, sir. Would it be possible to secure a bed for the night? Be a wiser man than I. Go too far from this place and never return. Why, what? There is a curse upon this inn. I will not have an innocent doomed to the same fate as I. I have plenty of gold to pay for my board. The devil cannot be bought off, my friend. What devil? What is the name of this nature of this curse? This inn was built by my father 20 years ago. From the wood of a fallen oak he stumbled upon on an island north of here. He noticed human bones scattered around, but did not heed them. This inn has been a curse on our bloodline ever since. Madness and death claims those who stay here. This time last year, it claimed my father. Soon I am certain it shall claim me. So why do you remain? I do not believe in fleeing from the mistakes of the past. If the Almighty wills that my family must pay for our errors, then this I accept. But I would not see another suffer for our sins. Leave now before the shadows take you. Sir, I have little patience for fables, and even less for writing after sundown in the middle of a downpour. Lend me a room, and I shall take the responsibility for my own well-being. You will insist? Not only will I insist, but I will pay whatever price you ask. Go then, take the upstairs room, and if you remain by the morn, you shall pay nothing at all. Owen lay himself down, intending only to test the bed softly, but in his exhaustion, he quickly succumbs to sleep. I've been there! In the early hours of the morning, something jolted Owen from his slumber. A piercing sound. No, a piercing smell. Owen took the sheet with him, presumably for comfort. Must be some pretty good darn sheets. Woof! What in God's name? Oh God, it's him, the innkeeper. What kind of? Who could have? Oh! Once again, I returned disoriented from my vision. I was closing in on the source of the madness. The innkeeper had said that the wood came from a tree on an island. Could that have been Clanberry and Brian Island? Given what I was seeing, it seemed a valid if worrying possibility. Besides that, it seems I had no other leads. So what would I do? I was determined not to let the trail end there. If there were, just a single clue. Trilby, I know you are following a trail. Go to the roof if you wish to proceed. Lakeman, victim 2, the innkeeper. The second man who desired judgment was the innkeeper, who had bought the wood of the tree and built from it his house. The prince came to him and his guests, and he struck the innkeeper down, and the innkeeper knew the name of the king. And the prince turned to the innkeeper's guest, and he said, You I shall not let live, for once before have I made this warning, and still my soul aches with what is done to the wood that is my soul, and I will spare no man who injures me in this way. And the innkeeper's guest knew the name of the king. And you're starting to catch on? When you hear throw down and knew the name of the king, that means... Has she been turned up yet? I don't care about her anymore. She can make her own choices. If she wants to run away with some old smooth talker in a cheap suit, that's up to her. This head will be my new assistant. It will be a much better one. May I borrow that head, Professor? Oh, I see. You took one companion of mine away, and now you want another? Abed, it's just a head. What could you possibly need it for? You don't understand. No one understands me. Go get me a drink. Then we'll talk. Okay, fine. I took the wine. Perhaps this would appease the drunken professor upstairs. Professor? Where's he gone? Oh God, no! He shifted! I pulled the head out of the stump, trying not to think about the wet cracking noise it caused. Abed's drunken misery had caused him to shift into the dark hotel. The jolly man of whom I had grown fond lay decapitated on the floor. With Shiobon's disappearance, I was now truly alone. The professor had known nothing of the horror. He was blameless and ignorant of any matter involving the foam manor or accursed idol, but it seemed my dark captor cared little for these facts. Why haven't you killed me too, you skinny bastard? If you can do it so easily, so quickly, why won't you face me? I took the leg with me. Hey, Trouble! I took the arm with me. Watch this a little bit. Now notice, normally I can't climb ladder. Even if I could reach what remained of the ladder, I highly doubt it would support my weight. Obviously, they had to do that instantly. Bring her back. I replaced the left arm, the right arm, the left leg, the right leg. I replaced the head. The body was intact. For some reason I couldn't explain, I sensed that something had changed back in the real world. What kind of ridiculous locking mechanism is this? Oh! Glamborn Island, July 28th, AD 1501. A sturdy tree, this. It took us from dawn till dusk, but we finally have it down. I'm tired, Father. 'Twas indeed clever of us to investigate this island, eh, boy? I have never seen such a gigantic orc, nor do I expect to again. But its wood shall keep us in the business of carpentry for years to come. Father, look at those stones. You think there was once a house here? It matters not. Why must you always look everywhere but at what matters? This is your... Father? It's something troubling you, Father? Oh! Ooh! You! What? Where am I? I must have shifted into the dark world during the vision. Trilby! Shiobon! Oh, thank God. I thought I was all alone. What happened to you? I don't know. After you knocked me out in my room, I woke up and everything was like this. The hotel's ruined. There's blood everywhere. I saw this horrible man. Tall, thin, long black coat. You know him? I know enough that you're lucky to be alive. He didn't notice me, so I ran up here to hide. How'd you get past the doll? What doll? Trilby, what the hell's going on here? I told you what would happen if you followed me into the shadows. This isn't your problem. Take these. What are these? Tranquilizer pills. Take one. When you calm down, the hotel will go back to normal. Won't you need them? I don't need to run away anymore. Trilby, wait! Where are you going? I know enough. I know where the wood came from. Perhaps I can find a way to end this. So I was right. The cursed wood came from Glamborn Island. But what kind of good does that knowledge do me? Wait a second. I never got around to reading the letter I took from under the rock. Trilby, I am very close to ending this. Meet me in the hotel basement. I must show you my discovery. Linkman. The other page was another one of those religious papers. The Book of Victims. Victim 1. The Woodcutter. The first of those against whom the prince sought vengeance was the woodcutter. He who had held the axe that first felled the tree. The prince came to him and his son, and he struck the woodcutter down, and the woodcutter knew the name of the king. And the prince turned to the woodcutter's son, and he said, You I shall let live, for you are young, and are the innocent, and that you may go among your people and tell them of what I will wrought. And the woodcutter's son fled, and told all of what he had seen, but the men of technology are arrogant, and its words were unheeded. Let's go finish this! Oh! Glamborn Peninsula, July 28th, 55 BC! Cabadas, a Celtic druid, awaits the return of his friend and colleague Galadin, who brings news of the invasion of Angusay by the Roman Suetonius Palinus. Having fallen out of favor with his fellows for certain radical beliefs and activities, Cabadas lives in solitude in this remote forest clearing and prefers not to travel himself. Cabadas! Galadin, you bring news? The foreigners have landed. They could not be deterred by our sorcery. All is lost. Oh? Certain are you? They are making their way across the land, eliminating resistance. Even you out here will be brought down within days. I'm sorry, Cabadath. And the great druids of Anglesey bow so easily to these brash foreign power? Do not hang your head yet, my friend. Perhaps the activities for which I orchestrated could yet spell an answer. What are you talking about? You know of my dealings with the ethereal realms. I know what you claim, that there exists some utterly territory populated by demons and creatures of magic, and that you, Cabadath, can somehow commune with these creatures? Come inside and I shall explain. Cabadath, what is this madness? In my dealings with the ethereal realm, I have learned of many powerful demon elements. But there is one spoken of only reluctantly, a beast possessing of awesome power. That's cool, Ingrid. You plan to summon a demon? The most terrible of them all, who strikes fear into evil, the most unfathomable creature I have spoken with. A pain elemental, indeed the only pain elemental, ruler of a desolate wasteland where none venture. An invulnerable, hugely potent beast that feeds on the agony of others. And today is his day, the day when the boundaries between the realms weaken and he glimpses our world. To bring him through at that point shall be simple. Even if you could conjure such a thing, how would you have it defend our land? I have much knowledge in the ways of magic. With the correct binding, any demon can be forced to my will. I completed the preparation while I waited for your return. All that remains is the summoning. Cabadath, it pains me to see you build hopes on such nonsense. Be silent and watch. You shall see your nonsense soon enough. In this hall of death, and by the light of Belinda's gift, I summon you. Bring your gifts to mark your path. I feed you with pain. I call you with madness. I summon you with the greatest loss, and I bind you by your true name. Chzo! By the gods! I have reached out to you through the void, Chzo! I command you by your true name! Show yourself! Kevin, please stop this! Show yourself! Ooh! And tenacious, it's huge! It is larger than I anticipated. But Chzo must obey the rules of magic. It is bound. I can command it. Ah! No! It is far more powerful than I thought! Golden, help me! Forgive me, Cabadath. No! Golden, I beg you! Don't let it take me alive! Chzo, of course, has no use for meat. It feeds on pain. It does not kill its prisoners. Cabadath's agony was a particularly rare morsel, and Chzo ensured it would last. His soul was placed inside an oak sapling on the site of his old home to grant his body immortality. For 5 centuries, as the tree grew, he knew torment beyond even his most depraved imaginings. By then, his body was warped, and his mind long fallen into soulless dementia. He was Chzo's elderly and completely his slave. Trilby! Shuban! You were supposed to leave. I couldn't. Abed, the professor, he's dead. I know. He was killed by the shadows, just like they will kill you if you don't get away from here. What is this place? This cave is the center of the reality shift. This stump is what's causing it all. How? It is the vessel for the soul of the tall man. The acolyte of Chzo. Lateman, nice to see a friendly face. Amazing, isn't it? Of all the things Sir Roger could have used to murder his son, he chose that idol. Placing the soul of John Defoe into the wood alongside Cabadath. Infusing the poor retard with Chzo's magic allowed him to come back infinitely more powerful than before. Certainly, that's pretty lucky. Lucky? Chzo had to wait 2,000 years for that opportunity. The opportunity to blend magic and science in a single entity. The opportunity to create the bridge. What are you talking about? The bridge between the realms, over which Chzo will cross into our universe and purify mankind. Our order has waited 200 years for the prophecy to be fulfilled. You're not with the Ministry of Occultism. Who are you? 200 years ago, the prophet Jack Freehorn ordered and founded the Order of Blessed Agony. Since then, we have grown and watched and waited. It was only in recent years that the events foretold in the book of Chzo began to occur. It mentioned John Defoe, and it mentioned you. Me? You were the one prophesied to guide the Bridgekeeper to his destiny, but you didn't finish the job. All three aspects of John Defoe had to be destroyed to create the bridge. Body, mind, and soul. You only destroyed his body. His soul and mind remain. Had I known about this, I wouldn't even have done that. That will truly disappoint my superiors. They were quite adamant that I should try to persuade you to join our cause and fulfill your foretold duty. Is that why you were helping me? They thought if I guided you through a revision and showed you the appropriate passages from our holy books, you'd understand that the prophecy is real. Oh, they thought if you honestly believed I joined some insane cult just because you handed me some leaflets? Personally, no. Oh! A knife in my gut brought an explosion of ice-cold agony. I heard the pitter-patter of my blood on the rocky floor. The pain, the surprise, and my exhaustion went together to cause immediate unconsciousness. I awoke to find myself splayed upon the stump, blood still slowly leaking from my wound. In my injured state, I could barely move. My limbs refused to respond. I was as weak as a newborn. Man, oh good, you're awake. I was afraid you'd miss this. What are you doing? After you stir staggering ineptitude into Defoe Manor, the Order needs to nudge things along. We need a connection to Chzo to help administrate his coming. And today might be the only opportunity we have all year to summon the Tall Man. You're going to bring that thing into our world? With a standard ritual of blessed agonies and an offering. After he takes your life, he will be grateful to us. And then we will guide us to our destiny. So why did you stab me? What if I'm already dead by the time he gets here? You won't be. Men like you, Trilby, die on their own terms. They don't weakly let their life slip away from one measly knife wound. Hush now. Cabodas is coming. My attempts to move only made things worse. I felt a stab of pain and something snapped behind my eyes, filling my vision with spots. I was losing blood steadily. My arms and head were limp and unresponsive. I couldn't move. Why are you summoning the Tall Man? What possible use could he be to you? You have been experiencing flashbacks, I know. You saw Cabodas attempt to summon Chzo, yes? I saw that he failed quite drastically. He assumed our Lord could be summoned with any all-basic demon summoning right. But Chzo is far greater and more powerful than his rival. He is very nearly a god of pain! It takes a great amount of magic and a much more complex ritual to summon one such as he. We do not know it, but the Tall Man does. He will guide us and teach us. You had the item of the whole time? I did. I placed it here to reunite the wood with the tree from which it came. Cabodas will appreciate the sentiment. Why is John Defoe the bridge? What makes him so special? He was born in the scientific realm and killed with magical wood. The magic brought him back as a race. As such, he is an entity of both realm, of both magic and science. 1 foot on each side of the border. He is the bridge, just as the prophecy said. What is this Order of Blessed Agonies? Some kind of cult? You use that word as if it's derogatory. We are the worshippers of Chzo, the practitioners of Blessed Agony. Only through pain can a man be purified. We are the purest of them all. What is this Order of Blessed Agony? Oh. What does this ritual entail? What are you going to do to us? To you, I have put on all I need. To bring Cabodas to us, we must tempt him with the 3 blessed agonies. The blessed agony of the mind, the body, and the soul. I am well conditioned to act as the mind. Your wounds make you the body. The girl will have to suffice as the soul. Shiobun, are you there? She's here, but she can't hear you. She has nothing to do with this, Linkman. Let her go. On the contrary, it is important that all three of us be here. It is part of the ritual. It was becoming harder and harder to breathe. Air ran in and out of my lungs like a buzzsaw. Uh-oh! Now here, this is the brilliance of this being a text parser. Remember what he said? Men like us do not, men like Trilby will die on their own terms. My vision was clouded up around the edges. It seemed like my stubborn will was the only thing keeping me alive. Die! I died! And I died! It hurt. I typed in died and I died! Come! What? He's dead? No, that's not possible! Master? Master, please, no! 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 Ugh. Trilby and Trilby. Go back, Trilby. Leave me alone. I'm dead. Not yet. Not fully. Your mind and soul are drifting apart from your body. With enough power, there's still time to pull them back. But you must have the will to return. Forget it. I've had enough. I did the assignment. I made myself useful. I lived up to the reputation Defoe Manor gave me. Today I gave everything I could, and I still died. There is still work to be done. You have not yet completed your duty. I'm sick of duty, sick of prophecy. Just let me sleep. Strong men like you have tried to fight destiny. None succeeded. Past, present, and future are all different, faces of the same die, and few can see them all at once. But I can, and the future demands that you live. Return now. I have marked the path. Please, just let it end. Pleading to me is useless. I am just as much a prisoner of fate as you. The future of your actions are destined to bring about that has already taken place. Without your part, I would not be here to restore your life. So you see, by my mere presence, your decision is already made. Who are you? A murderer and a madman and a puppet of forces neither of us could possibly comprehend. Trilby, say something! What? You're alive! Oh God, I didn't even know if I was doing it properly. But I did it. You're alive! Where's Lakeman? That tall man took him. He did something horrible to him. And then he took him away. Where's my waistcoat? Shh, don't talk. I've already called for an ambulance. Let's get you back upstairs. Wait, see that idol? Yes? Bring it with us. Wrap it tightly and close and bring it with us. Don't let it touch your bare skin. Okay. And now it sits across from me. The reality shifts had cleared up, and we were free to leave. An SDP cleanup crew arrived with the ambulance. No trace of a bed in the hotel staff was found. Officially, they've been classified as unexplained disappearances. Lakeman and the tall man seem to have also vanished, which does not surprise me in the least. Shiobon signed the Official Secrets Act, and last I heard is staying with her parents to recuperate. Which just leaves me with the write up my notes, with the idol that haunts my dreams gazing at me from across my desk. I was dead. I can't pretend I wasn't. No amount of CPR could have brought me back from where I was. So who did it? The man in red? Who was he if not an insane hallucination and brain death? Unimportant, I'm alive, and that's all that matters. Just that and the destiny of this wretched statuette that I am apparently fated to carry out. Every instinct in my being wants to burn it to ashes and grind them into the dirt, but I do not. Lakeman spoke of a prophecy, that the destruction of John Defoe's soul would somehow help him and his order summon their dark god. So if I destroy the idol, they win. But what else can I do? Oh! And yet what did we do at the end of 7 days? Whoopsie! I certainly can't keep it. I know from experience that it leaks malevolent influences like a broken pipe leaks water. The only other option is to hide it. But where can I hide such a thing and ensure that it's never found again by human hands? I shall have to think about this. The fulfillment of the prophecy continues. The ritual of the summoning of Chzo will go ahead. Events have been set in motion that cannot be stopped. We have the blood of the guide. Now we must wait. Wait and prepare. And at this time there came a man from the land of technology, and though his wisdom was great and his power advanced, he had the wilfulness of his fellows, and so he was the arrogant man. And on the 8th and 20th day of the 7th month of the year of the arrogant man, the king gazed upon the lands of technology, and saw the arrogant man, who spoke thus: O king, I beseech you, for this land has become corrupt without your benevolent hand, and darkness seeks to envelop us all. I demand of you to cross the border between our lands and make things right, for my power is great, and I have it in my power to control one even as great as you. And the king was rightfully amused, for while the arrogant man's power was indeed great, the king's power was greater still. And the king said, I will not submit myself, for firstly, my power is greater than yours, and not yours to command. Secondly, while my capabilities are many, it is impossible for me to enter the land of technology, for the border is a dark and treacherous ocean I cannot will away. But I will do this for you, O arrogant man. For all the bigness of your head, you are still small enough to be spared the rigors of the dark ocean. I shall rescue you from the darkness in the lands of technology, and you shall live in my household, and here you will learn humility. And as the king said it, so was it so, and the arrogant man crossed the ocean to the house of the king, where he was brought before his majesty, who said, Now you may repay me for the slight your arrogance caused me, for despite your insult, I love you as I love every man and beast, and you must learn to take this love into your heart. And the king took the body and mind of the arrogant man and separated them from his soul. And this he placed in a great tree in the land of technology. And with this action he announced, Now you are the tree, and the tree is you, and the wood is your soul. With this gift of separation, your body shall not wither or die throughout your lessons. But should any man interfere with the tree that is your soul, on the day that is mine, I shall lend you the power to confront them and strike them down with fitting revenge. And then he touched the arrogant man and filled his heart with warming love. And the arrogant man became the prince, and he knew the name of the king. And the prince and the court of the king bowed down and wept, and sang with great praise the name of the king, for great and generous was his wisdom. The Books of Chzo, Book of the Prince, Chapter 2. And that's it! So yeah, talk about recontextualizing everything, and yet expanding on the lore very much so. Because basically, anytime someone had tainted the wood, on that particular day, the king and the prince or the tall man would show up and slaughter anyone there. Whoever dared to taunt or touch the wood. And the Chzo is an Alpine elemental. See what I meant when I said that the story writing on this was leaps and bounds greater than the first two? Also, unlike the first two games that had where you just took free music and everything, this one was all original music, and it shows, and it's glorious. Ooh, and what is Trilby pondering? But yeah, but as I said earlier, so we destroyed the one statue in the past, or in the at one point, and then the far future we destroyed. So his body was destroyed, his soul was destroyed. Now all that's left is his mind. But wait, how is this going to work? Well, there's a reason why both Trilby's note and then 6 days of sacrifice happen in between things. There's a very interesting workaround or loophole for this for the ritual. But yeah, overall the writing was leaps and bounds. It felt consistent. It felt like it's heading towards something, and it's trying to make sense out of everything. There's a reason why I love this so much. The graphics were very good and everything, and you could definitely tell there was a big story coming on. But yeah, we got one more game left. What is that, and how are they going to resolve the ritual? What happened when John Defoe's mind is destroyed alongside with his body and soul? What is the point of Chzo? And what will the prince do? This, among many other things, will be answered in the final game of the series, 6 Days of Sacrifice. But we also get other answers, like the guy from 7 Days of Skeptic. What was his story? We shall find out about that as well. And what are they going to do with Trilby's blood? We'll find out about that. There are so many things that get answered. Will it be a satisfying answer? Well, that's up to your interpretation. I personally enjoy it. But yeah, that's all we've got on this one. One more to go. And we'll be seeing you guys on that tomorrow. Take care, everybody.